and I was really needing, you know, I've been in real estate for 22 years, was a principal broker, was a broker for over 20. And one of the things that I knew that I was looking for is I needed some leadership. I needed somebody to show me how to get from point A to point B, how to focus. And so when I started looking, I was like, you know, who could show me that? I started watching online. And, you know, one of the things that they say is success leaves clues. And so I started looking at Celeste. I started looking at Shane Ray's stuff. I saw Tommy, who's a huge agent over in Murfreesboro. And I started seeing this, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a part of this. So that's how I got here, and I called and I said, Keisha, this is what I want to do. I want to be in with you guys because that's what's going to make me focus on my business. And so in a nutshell, I got in with Coach Burt, and he's really helped me. I mean, he's really helped me to focus. He's one of these guys that just really, his whole deal is he wants to make sure that you succeed. He's not going to give up on you. And I was so fortunate. I told Steve, I said, you know what, how do I get, you know, one of the things I'm not scared of, it's probably why I've got a pretty wife. Fat boy has got a pretty wife. I'm not scared to ask. So I said, you know what, I wonder if I called Coach Burt, would he come speak to us? We're in our infancy. We're getting this thing going. We met with Coach Burt, and he said, I like what you're doing. He said, yes. So, guys, I want everybody to put their hands together and welcome Coach Burt.
Like that. That's music and everything, right?
Yeah. Ready.
Play my music. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
First rule of selling. Money only changes hands when problems are solved. Do you believe that?
Yep. Yeah.
I want you to think about this. Now, people pay for convenience, but when I really got the concept that money changes hands when problems are solved, the bigger the problem, more money people pay to solve it. So when you're selling, all you're really doing is solving problems. Now, here's the good news about that. How many problems are out there in the world?
Tons.
So selling is nothing more than the exchange of money for the creation of value. So you create value, right? So I say you can wake up and fish for bluegill in Percy Priest Lake. Those are small problems. Or you can fish for blue marlin in the Gulf of Mexico. And you got to make up your mind what problem you're going to solve. Small problems or big problems, right? And your pay is in proportion to how big the problem is. So I see a lot of people that I'm currently coaching in my big coaching program called Monster Producer. And so I get to coach hundreds of salespeople every single day. And I was thinking about what I want to say, because we got a mix of people in here. How many real estate agents do we have in here tonight? Okay, so we got some realtors in here tonight. Good to see everybody. How many investors we got in here? Okay, all right, so we got some investors in here. I'm an active investor, okay, both short-term, long-term, commercial, real estate. So I played that side of the game, along with coaching some of the biggest real estate agents. When I say big ones, I mean people doing $2 million, earning $2 million or more. Also, I'm coaching 100 million plus mortgage originators. Okay, so what do you think I get to see when I see people playing at that level?
Greatness.
I get to see what the best do. I'm also coaching what I call little baby stars. They're going to be big stars. They're just not quite there yet. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And every big star started off as a little star that wanted to be a big star. Fair enough? Yeah. Now, when you coach that many people, you see tendencies. You see patterns. Okay, and what you see is you see what I call missing structures. And a missing structure is a void or a gap or a hole in your business that if we just fix this missing structure, right, then there's no telling what we could do. Everybody follow me here. Okay, so if we just fix this missing structure, so there are 4 big missing structures that most salespeople have. Okay, I'm going to give these to you. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm coaching a big company, like a $1 billion company. They all are interested in growth. Every person that comes to me is interested in one thing, one word. You know what that word is? More. More time, more freedom, more money, okay? More influence. They all want more of something. That's the common theme people want, right? So here's the 4 big missing structures. Number 1, they do not have a world-class explanation of services. Now, let me tell you why this is critical. The number 1 question you're going to get when people meet you, okay, outside of where you're from, where you live, how's your family, is what?
What do you do?
What do you do? This is the biggest trap in the world. It's the biggest commodity trap in the world. So today I was coaching about probably 60 or 70 real estate agents. When they get asked that question, what do they lead with? I'm a
realtor.
or I'm in the real estate business. Now, what's the problem with that? There's over 1 million real estate agents. So the minute you say that, in my mind, what do I think? Well, you're no different than the other 4,000 agents competing in your market. So we never teach a person to lead with what they do. We always teach a person to lead with what they believe. Okay, so for example, I believe there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Rich people know how to make money. Wealthy people know how to have money work for them. How many people believe that? Yeah. See, we're already in agreement. That's the first step to you and I doing business with each other, right? So I believe, okay, everybody needs a coach in life. Okay, how many people have ever had a great coach? Okay, look, we're already in agreement. You with me? Absolutely. First step to selling another person is getting agreement. Because people do business with other people that believe the same things they do. You follow me here? So when we're teaching a person how to overcome this problem, most people lead with what it is they do. So I think people don't care what you do, they care why you do it. People don't care what you do. They care why you do it. So when a person asks me, this is how it typically works for me, because I fly on airplanes a lot and I go to different places, and a person's typically sitting by me, and I'm a former women's basketball coach. That's why you see this big gaudy ring on my right finger, because I spent a decade building a championship program, right? So I wear this ring because it's symbolic of 80-hour work weeks for a decade to win at the highest level. So a person's typically sitting by me on the plane, and they're looking at my ring, and they do this. And then they do this. And then they tap me on the shoulder, and they say, I've got a question for you. Is that a Super Bowl ring? And I'm sitting there thinking, and I want to say this. I want to say this. Yeah, I'm the kicker for the Patriots, right? Do I look like I play in NFL? No, I don't look like I play in NFL, right? So I always say the same thing. I say no. I was actually a women's basketball coach, but I retired from that work, which always prompts the next question, because they look at me and try to figure out how old I am. And I typically say I retired from that at 31 years old. And they go, 31? You retired to do what? Okay, and then I back up and I say, before I tell you what I do, let me back up and tell you what I believe. I believe every person in the world needs a good coach in life. I believe a good coach can change your life. I believe you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. I believe the people that have good coaches make 3 and 4 times the amount of money than ones that don't. And then I look at them and I get real serious and I say, have you ever had a good coach? Now, this is the moment I know. What do you think I know at that moment? If they have ever had a good coach, right? And Celeste, one of my favorite people in the world, top State Farm agent. Her daughter plays at the University of Tennessee in basketball. And if she'd ever had a good coach, right? And you had a good coach because she was a great basketball player. At the minute I ask that question and I look into their eyes and I can tell if they've ever had a great coach, right or wrong. Yeah. Right. And I go, do you believe the same things I do? Do you believe, right? Have you ever had, and they go, oh, absolutely, yes. So then I say, so you do know what a good coach can do for your life, don't you? Now, are we closer to doing business together or far away from doing business? Closer. We've already got agreement. They've already told me they've had a coach in their life, right? So then I ask the $1 million question, which is, well, who is coaching you now? If you believe a good coach can change your life, and is it not true that when you had that great coach, you saw the most growth you ever had in your life? Who's coaching you right now? And then they go, I don't have a coach. I say, well, just out of curiosity, name one top producer that you know, one top performer in the world, in anything that doesn't have somebody coaching him. Right? Like right now, I got people coaching me. I've got a media coach. I got an agent. I got people telling me how to coach me on my online platforms. I got people coaching me on how to buy my real estate. I got people coaching me on how to invest my money. I got spiritual coaches. I mean, I got coaches in everything, right? And you know why? We can't see the picture when we're what? Inside the frame. So I teach people, number one, to always lead with what they believe. Okay? So if I ask you right now, what is it you believe? Could you tell me? Okay, I want you to think about this. Could you articulate it to me? Okay? And when people ask you, hey, what do? You could say, well, I'm an investor, or I'm a realtor, or I'm a mortgage originator, or I'm an insurance person. But the minute you say that, what? You're a commodity. What if I just said I'm a coach? How many coaches are there out there today? Coaches are popping up every single day. So when a person says, well, why should we hire you over somebody else? I always say this. Do you want someone who coaching you who one day woke up and called themselves a coach? Or do you want somebody who's actually won a championship? Now, why would I say that? I'm planting a seed in their mind that there's a difference between me than just somebody who one day woke up, right? So we teach people to explain their services like this, okay? It's very critical. Number one, always tell me first what you believe. Then tell me why you believe it. Okay, so notice I said I believe everybody needs a coach in life because I think a good coach can change your life, right? Now, at that moment, do I know if you and I have potential of doing business with each other? Yes or no?
Yes.
So here's what I say. I know within the first 15 seconds if we have potential together or not. So would you rather know in 15 seconds or would you rather chase somebody for 15 months? Because most salespeople chase people for 15 months, don't they? See, I look at you and I tell you what I believe and I see if you believe it too. And if you do, now we're cooking. This tells me, should I follow up with you? This tells me, should I pursue you? This tells me, should I spend my time or waste my time? You follow me here? So I make up my mind about a person that fast. This is a beautiful thing because there's no reason for us to go to round 2 if you and I don't believe the same things, right? And it's okay if we don't believe the same things because there's 7 billion people on planet Earth. And probably a few more on Mars. We don't even know about that. Right? So lead with what you believe and then tell me why you believe it. Okay? That's the first 2 steps of explaining your services. Third step of explaining your services is tell me what it is you really do. Now, you know what you do, right? You know what you do, okay? Now, back there in the back is my real estate agent named Tommy Davidson. Tommy Davidson has grown his business from doing 45 deals a year to 100 deals a year. That's a significant jump, wouldn't you say? Now, when he's representing me on my real estate transactions, and I say, Tommy, what are you going to do for me on this transaction? He says, the number one thing I want to do for you is regulate your emotion. Do people get emotional when they do real estate deals? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
You know what great agents do? They regulate that emotion. So he says, Coach, there's going to come some times that you want to get emotional because you love this house, because you built this house. It's a custom house just to you. But what I'm going to do for you, and the reason you're paying me, is to, A, get you the most money I can on your property, which you got me over value my house, and I'm going to regulate your emotion. Now, that's a whole lot different than saying he's just going to represent me as my real estate agent. Right or wrong? Now, when my deal got rocky, the one deal that I did with him, and it started to get a little rocky because people started getting what? Emotional. He calls me one day and he says, now, I know you fly a lot, Coach Burt. Now, this is a great analogy. I know you fly a lot, Coach Burt, right? And did you know that 89% of the time, a flight leaves its original flight pattern, but it still gets you from point A to point B? Headwinds, your tailwinds, right? Whatever, right? But it still gets you there. He said, have you ever experienced some turbulence on those flights? And I said, absolutely. My job, okay, he said, so right now we're going through a little bit of turbulence, but I'm going to get you from point A to point B. Now, is that a good thing to say to somebody, right? Now, notice how he's using these analogies to do what? Regulate my emotion. So when I ask you, if I were to catch you on the side and I said, tell me what it is you do. Tell me what it is you really do. Could you really answer that question? Because a lot of people get nervous when I ask them that question. What do you really do? Like, why am I paying you? What problem are you solving for me that money would leave from my pocket and come to your pocket? So all the real estate agents in the room, what if you said this? I can get more money per square foot than any other real estate agent in Nashville on new home construction. Would that be a good thing to say, yes or no? Yeah. What if you could prove that you could negotiate better than anybody else? Would that be something that you could work it?
Absolutely.
Right? So when you can say, there's really 3 things I do. So I want you to think of it like this. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. Here's what it is I do. Like when people ask me what I do, I say I package and deliver content in a way that gets people to move. I take real complicated growth and I make it simple. You know, some people say I remove all the white noise from people's lives. I bring tremendous clarity to complex situations. You follow me here? Now, that's what I really do. How do I do it? I do it through the coaching business. But you see how I'm making it real clear for people? You know what you do, but I don't know what you do. You follow me here? So the third thing you got to tell me is what do you really do? What do you really do? Okay? All right, here's the fourth thing. And this is big. I actually wrote a book on this one. I think we got it over there. Zebras and Cheetahs. I want you to think of this. See, I got too cute. I wrote this book called Zebras and Cheetahs in all the bookstores and airports, okay? And then I had to explain what it actually meant. Because I should have said look different and run faster, but a whole lot easier. Follow me here? A zebra looks different. A zebra looks different than every other animal in the animal kingdom. A cheetah does what?
Faster.
Runs faster than every other animal in the animal kingdom, right? Okay? Now, I want you to think what makes you a zebra. What makes you look different than everybody else? What makes you stand out? What makes you different? If you're competing versus 4,000 other agents, 5,000 other agents, is it not your job to articulate what makes you different? Is it my job to figure it out, or is it your job to tell me?
My job.
Most people can't tell what makes them different. What makes you different than every other person that's out there? Okay? I quickly figured out what made Steve different. He's got a unique ability to find properties, see things that other people don't see. See, my mind is always looking at what makes this guy a zebra. What makes him look different? Well, he can find things other people can't find. He can see things other people can't see. You follow me here? That makes him different. Now, here's what I'm curious about. Where does that come from? Where does that unique perspective come from? Does it come from somewhere in his past? Does it come from somewhere in his experiences? Does it come from somewhere in his struggle? Does it come from some mentor that he worked under? You see what I'm saying? So I want to know, if you are different, where did that come from, right? My decade of coaching at a very high level has made me different than a lot of business coaches, because I have an intensity about me that a championship coach has. Like when I got in the business world, I'm like, man, everybody's moving very slow, man. Everybody's like turtles. I want to be a cheetah. I'm on offense, right? I ain't on defense. I'm on offense, man. Why are these people moving so slow? So I kind of combine my unique past of being a championship coach and the kind of intensity a coach brings with my entrepreneurial mindset. How do I turn liabilities into assets? How do I take something from lower level resources to higher levels of productivity? How do I push people towards some dominant focus? How do I get you to the next level, right? And how do I do it in a way that you actually like me versus not like me? That you just say, man, I love when this guy pushes me. So the fourth part of this is, how do you do it different than everybody else, okay? So what have we said so far? What's the first step of a good explanation of service? First, tell me what?
What you believe.
Tell me what it is you believe. Second, tell me what?
Why you believe it.
Third, tell me what?
Tell me what you do.
Yeah, what do you really do? And reduce it to the ridiculous. Okay? Fourth, tell me what?
What makes you different?
Hey, tell me what makes you a zebra. See, you're paying attention. I like this. Fifth, tell me what?
Where did it came from?
Yeah. All right. Fifth part. Okay? The fifth part is this. Tell me who you've done it for. Give me some social proof that you're good. If you study the science of persuasion, there's 6 tenets of persuasion. One of those tenets of persuasion is called social proof. And social proof is, tell me who you've helped. Tell me who you've done it for. Okay? So if I'm a mortgage originator, what if I said we routinely help 300 people a year? We put 300 families in homes every year. If I'm a real estate agent, I'm routinely doing X number of deals per year. I'm routinely helping these families. Or if you don't have a lot of success, what do you say? You say, I helped someone just like you just the other day. I helped first-time homeowner, right? Helped the first-time homeowner just like you just the other day. Everybody with me here? Now, why do you need that social proof? Like if you went to my website, you would see all the companies I work with. Deloitte, Dell, National Healthcare, Vanderbilt, Coldwell Banker, on and on and on. Why would we put those on that front page? So when you go there, you're going to what? This guy ain't a bozo. Because those people wouldn't hire him if he was a bozo. You with me? Well, if I didn't know you, and I don't know many of you in the room, you're trying to figure out if I'm legitimate or not right now. You're trying to figure out if I can help you or not. You're trying to figure out if I'm an asset to you or a liability. Can I help you make money? Can I help you save money? Well, I just gave you some social proof. I said I helped that guy back there move from 45 deals to 90. If you don't believe me, you can ask him. Right? We helped Celeste go to $1 Million Roundtable, Chairman's Club. Right? If you don't believe me, just ask her. So I tell people, you ain't got to ask me, ask my clients. Now, when my clients start talking, and I'm in a geographic area, and I live in Murfreesboro. I know it's a step down from Nashville. Okay, I get it. But I live in Murfreesboro. Do you think I can absolutely dominate and saturate that market when my clients start talking? Yes or no? When they start telling other people, the next thing you know, everybody's saying, if I want to go play at the next level, who do I need to go to? Right? And everybody's saying the same person. No different than saying everybody's using this one real estate agent, this one mortgage originator. Everybody's going to this one investor. Okay? And that's a concept we call person of interest. How do you become the person of interest? And you do that through the results that you get. Everybody with me? So you tell me who you've done it for, and I know we're in the South. So we're taught not to brag. And so we're not doing it in a braggadocious way, but we're just saying, I've been able to help this many people in my lifetime. Okay? Now, here's the final question. And don't miss this one. One thing we've left out of this equation of a good EOS is what, Shane? What are we missing? We have not asked the question, have we? And the question is what? If I could do this for you, just like I've done it for all these other people, what in the world would stop us from doing business with each other, or at least going to the second round? Everybody follow me? Now, when I share that with people, a lot of times people get freaked out because in the South, we're relationship. Okay, now I go up to New Jersey once a month and coach people. They got no problem asking like that, right? Because they're a lot more forward. Well, in the South, we're taught to be relationship builders, which means we supplicate a lot to the buyer. We put ourselves in a supplicated position. Like, you're real important, I'm not important. You're real busy, and I'm not that busy. And so I'm going to let you control this scenario because you got the money and I don't. Are you an expert or not? And if you're an expert, you need to take control of the scenario. So here's what I say. If I could help you just like I did all these other people, what would stop you and I from moving to the next round with each other? Now, some people who don't like that and think it's too strong, here's what I say. Out of everything I shared with you, what piqued your interest the most? That's a good Southern way to say it, right? And they'll say, well, I like this. Well, I like this. I like this. Okay, let's unpack those things. Now, what did I just give you there in that explanation service? I gave you a framework to explain what it is you do. Is this different than saying I'm an investor, I'm just an investor, I'm just a realtor, I'm just a mortgage broker, I'm just an insurance agent? Because what I think you're doing when you do that is you're actually commoditizing your own self. The first place to be a zebra is in how you articulate what it is you do. You guys believe that? Yeah. Okay? So we teach our people that I coach, how do you articulate yourself in a world-class way? How many people have already violated some of these things? How many people have already violated this, right? How many people go out there and say, I'm a realtor? Just a realtor. Yeah, hey, no more, baby, right? You're never saying that again, okay? All right, so that's the first problem most people have, is they do not have a good explanation of services, okay? That's number one, okay? Now, let me ask this question. If we brought in a world-class person, world-class realtor, world-class investor, and we brought them up here, and we had them right here, and we said, this is the number one person in the world. And we brought you up here to stand right beside them. And I sat out there in the audience, and I said, what is the difference between you and them? Would a world-class person have a great explanation of services, yes or no? Yes. Okay, so that's the first problem most salespeople have, is they don't have an EOS. Okay? Number two problem that salespeople have, and this is going to get a lot of people in the room, is they do not have a selling system. Now, why is this critical? The purpose of any business is to do what?
Make money.
Make money. Okay? We make money by creating customers. Okay? Money only changes hands when problems are solved, right? So we wake up and solve problems and we make money. We can solve little problems, which we call bluegills, or we can solve big problems, which we call blue marlins. Right? Now, when you think of it, that's a 3D printing stuff. What kind of meet you invite me to, Brandon? So here's the deal. If the purpose of any business is to create a customer, you know what the very first thing I'm going to ask you is, right? Tell me all the ways, tell me every strategy you got to create a customer. I.e., what's your customer acquisition strategy? How many different ways are you using to get your phone to ring with a qualified person on the other end of that? Now, remember, go back to my basketball days. When I was coaching, I would go into the game and I'd study the competition. So I'd watch my competition for hours, typically 6 to 8 hours. I knew every set they were going to run, and I would predetermine the plays I was going to run to beat them. Okay, so I'd come into the game and I'd have a sheet. You'll love this because you're a probability guy. I'd come into the game, and I'd have all these probabilities. When they do this, we do this. When they do this, we do this. When they do this, we do this. And I'll go right through those sets. So I have an assistant that sat right here beside me. I'd say set number one. She'd say run flex pop. I'd call it flex pop. We'd run it. We'd chart it. I'd come down the next time, set number two. Every now and then I would override her, and I would just be instincts. But for the most part, I stuck to that script. We would go in at halftime, and I would say which plays worked. And they'd say 2, 4, and 6 worked 80% of the time. 1, 3, 5 worked 20% of the time. What do you think I said about those plays? Roll them out. When we go back in the second half, which plays are we running?
2, 4, and 6.
2, 4, and 6. How many times do we run them?
All day.
Till somebody stop. And I may go back to number 2 over and over and over. Now, When I stuck to that script, all I'm doing is playing a game of probability. We have the highest probability when we run those plays of scoring. Now, so I retire from coaching, win a championship. I start coaching big banks. I started coaching the biggest home builders in the country. Then I started coaching the biggest mortgage companies in the country, the biggest real estate people in the country. And so here's what I'd say. Pull out your plays and show me how many ways you get customers. Some of these were billion-dollar companies. And guess what they said?
You don't have any.
What do you mean? I'm like, the purpose of any business is to create a customer. Tell me how many ways you use to get a customer. And they would say, here's what everybody defaults to. Referrals. Referrals. We get so many referrals. You know what I say? How many referrals do you get? What's your percentage of referrals? How many of your current customers are actually referring you, right? Which they had no idea what the answer to that question was. How many strategies do you need to be using in today's market? It's saturated, it's commoditized, there's too many people competing for the same space. I use 14 to 20 different strategies simultaneously in conjunction with each other to get my phone to ring. What do I want people? I want qualified people on the other end of that phone. I want most of my selling to already be done. So when you follow me, and some of you do on Facebook and social media, and you watch my podcast, the reason, all that stuff is just bait. It's cheese on the mousetrap. Right? Because I want the sale to have already been made. See, before he made a decision for me to coach him, he watched hours and hours of my videos. He had an affinity with me. He said, this little bald-headed pit bull can coach me and help me. Right or wrong? Yes or no? And I need a little pit bull in my life coaching me. So when he called us, there's no sale to be made. It's already been made. All he wants to know is how much is it going to cost him. Everybody with me? Shane Ray, same thing, yes or no? Watch me for hours on video, podcast. That's free, by the way, right? So right now we're averaging 100,000 minutes a month watched on my YouTube channel. 100,000 minutes a month of people watching my videos. So why do you think I'm putting out all these videos? Because I'm sharing my content and pushing it out to people, which is pulling people to me. You follow me? So when they call, they've already made up their mind. They want a coach. They want me. All they want to know is how much is it going to cost me? How can I make it work in my budget? So when I look at my strategies, and I'm using a selling system, I'm actually using all of these strategies simultaneously with each other. And let me tell you why. I don't know which ones are going to work and which ones don't. I don't know which one of the 14 to 20 are going to work. I just know I'm going to keep going. So as a basketball coach, I would just keep pulling levers. Right? Championship game. Imagine this. I'm in my 40th game of the year. What I have done has worked 37 straight times. We are 37-3. This is the biggest game of my career. What we were doing at halftime was not working. I want you to imagine that. Either I shift gears and change strategy or we don't win. So I go in at halftime and I say, we're going to do something we haven't done in 3 years. But I got to keep going until I find something, right? And it's a gamble. It's a risk. You do realize if you're going to get invested, you're going to take a little bit of risk. Everybody realize that? I said, but here's the deal. It's all or nothing, baby. We're either going to go get it and win this whole thing or we're not. So we go in and I do something I hadn't done in years, and it worked. Okay? Now, notice how I'm checking my strategies. When's the last time you checked your strategies? When's the last time you actually looked at the strategies you're using to see if they're producing the leads that you need to hit the numbers that you want? So if you came to me, the first questions I'm going to ask you is what, Bill? Are you hitting your sales numbers, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay? Bill's my new sales guy. He better say yes. He is on day one, baby. He sold something on, I told my wife, I said he sold something on day one, so I like it.
And day two.
And day two. Comes with batteries included, right? And so here's the deal. If you're not looking at the strategies you're using and doing the same thing I'm doing, what you're charging them, then why are you just repeating the same thing over and over? The first question I'm going to ask you, are you hitting your sales numbers, yes or no? You're going to tell me no, because that's why you came to me. Right or wrong? You know, the next question I'm going to ask you, how many strategies are you using to get your phone to ring with a qualified person on the other end? You're going to typically tell me, I don't know, that's a good question, Coach Burt. You're not using enough. Or the ones you're using ain't working. Right? So we're going to give you 14 to 20. We're going to drive up your activity with calculated approach. I'm not going to ever be a person who tells you call 100 people a day, 100 people a week. I'm going to tell you, let's get more targeted. And what I like to do is I like to bring and show people my personal planner. Every day we created this planner called Monster Producer Planner. And I created this because there were no planners out there. So this may show you a typical day, one of my typical days. Shows you what time I start, 6 a.m. Shows you what time I end, 4:30 p.m. that day. Shows you my sales target. My goal is to sell $200,000 worth of coaching every 30 days. This particular month was February. I was on the 28th. I sold $212,000 worth of coaching. If I hit $200,000 a month, okay, times 12, I've driven $2.4 million of revenue. Everybody see that, right? So I'm trying to hit $200,000 every 30 days. So how do I hit that number? This is my high value activity. This is my hit list of people I'm going after. This is my farm club of people I'm trying to close. Okay, this is my top 25, 3 of my biggest customers. Everybody with me? And I'm doing this every single night, okay? Every single night. And then my daughter made her notes for the day too, right? Now, so why would I show you that? How many people in this room, okay, and I'm not being negative, how many people in this room every night sit down and map out their next day? Now, with me? It's typically very few in a room, isn't it? How important is your tomorrow? Is it important enough for you to sit down and spend 7 minutes mapping it out? Yes or no? Yes. So now I'm clear. This is my high value activity. This is where the money's made. So when I come into the day, I'm not going to let you pull me out of my high value activity. I'm going to stay focused on working my what? System. The power is in the process. The power is in the system. Okay? All right. So the second part is the selling system. Okay? So now we got 2 problems. I got just a few minutes left. Now, we don't have an explanation of service. How many people guilty of that one? We got to get better at, right? Close ratios will go up when you have a good EOS. I promise you. Number 2, we don't have a selling system, or we don't have enough strategy. All right. Number 3, we don't have a consistent 7-touch follow-up to get a person off the fence. Now, if you look at any stat in America when it comes to sales, it takes 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to get a person off the fence to say yes. You follow me? 80% of the time. I don't care what industry you're in. If your EOS is stronger, the number's going to go down. Okay? If the EOS is stronger, the number's going to go down. It may only take you 3 touches. But I can't tell you how many people will not go 7 touches. Okay? So if I tell you it's going to take 7 to 15 touches and you only go 2 times, what are you really saying here? You're not committed. You're not committed. When did I make up my mind if I was going to go 7 touches with you? In the first 15 seconds. See, I made up my mind if I was going to go the distance in 15 seconds. How did I know if I was going to go the distance? Because I told you what I believe. I look to see if you believe it too. And if you did, I'm going the distance. I wrote this little book called $1 Million Follow-Up because I can't tell you if I brought a big old pile of let's say a trash bag of money in here and I just opened it up and poured it out. That's actually how much money you're losing by not following up. We call that our farm club, okay? And in my old office in Cool Springs, we had a big board that showed every person that had indicated interest in using our services. If we just followed up and closed those people, and then we quantified that. And I'd go to the office on a Monday morning, I'd look at that board, I'd see all those people that said they were interested in our services, and I'd say, how much money is that worth? Well, it's worth $800,000. So if we close all the people on that board, we got $800,000 going from their pocket to our pocket. Do we have something to do this week, yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How many touches are we going to go? 7. But here's the problem. I was telling somebody this on the way down here tonight. It's not that people don't follow up. Many times they don't follow up in a way that creates movement in a person, creates a sense of urgency in a person. So here's how I feel people follow up in the South. Hey, I'm just touching base.
Yeah.
I just wanted to follow up. You were on my list of people to call today. I love this one. Somebody used this one on me one day. I woke up thinking about you this morning. You know what I said? That is it's so creepy. If you ain't got anything else to do to think about me, you ain't got much going on. Right? Not at all. I had a real estate agent do this on a $950,000 property. I had a real estate agent call me 4 days later and say, I'm just doing my due diligence, calling you back. I'm like, no. I'm doing my due diligence. I feel like, I felt like I'm some kind of burden to you on a $950,000 house. You're just doing your due diligence, and I never heard from him again. Never. So here's my point to you. Let me tell you how you need to follow up with people. I use a concept called the Challenger, okay? It's from a book called The Challenger Sale. And the challenger creates a healthy tension between you and the prospect. So when I follow up with you, I say, Brandon, I use my EOS back against him. I say, Brandon, when you and I met, we believe the same things.
Yeah.
Is that right? You told me what you want, Brandon, I brought it to you on a silver platter. What's stopping you from taking action? You with me? I may say, Brandon, I believe every day you don't take action, we're losing 10% of momentum. He may say, well, call me back 6 months from now. I may say, I may not even want to coach you 6 months from now. I don't know. So every time he comes back at me, I challenge him. Okay? So if I was a real estate agent, okay, this is something Tommy did that I thought was really good. I don't give away all your secrets. But we were going to get, when he was negotiating my house, we felt like we were going to get multiple offers. We knew that we had a person that was interested. So what he said is, we're most likely going to get multiple offers on this property. And I know when we get multiple offers, somebody always gets their feelings hurt. And I don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt in this deal. So you tell your client to bring their best offer to the table, right? And he'd say, now, you know, Coach Burt, he ain't going to mess around on this. So if you want his house, you bring the best offer you got. We'll avoid multiple offers. And they did. They brought an offer over asking price for the house. Now, see, what he's doing there is challenging that prospect a little bit. See, when you come back, here's what I would ask you. Are you an expert or not?
Yes.
Do you believe in you or not?
Yes.
So when I follow up with you, I say, look, you called me for a reason. You know that right now 258 million people are online in this country, and half of those people, 125 million, are looking at real estate? Do you know that 67% of people in real estate use the very first person that contacts them? They don't use the best one. They don't use the best looking one. They don't use the one who's been in the business. They use the first one. Do you know that 98% of real estate agents never call a customer back once they put them in a home? Although every real estate transaction should be worth 5.7 referrals. Doesn't it make you sick? If you told me I could get 6 deals out of tonight being really good here, guess what? I'm going to suck it up, buttercup, and be good here, aren't I? And I already spoke 15 times today, right or wrong. Okay? I'm going to suck it up and be good because, hey, there may be 6 deals here. Thank you very much. That's right. Maybe 50 deals. So my point is, when you follow up with a person, I need you to muscle up a little bit, and I need you to be the expert that you're supposed to be. I'm on the car lot. I'm telling you I'm interested. I'm calling you for a reason. Something convinced me you're the best. Don't mess around and let me control this. So when I follow up people, I take control. You call me, I'm an expert. We can have this conversation now. We have it 6 months from now. But in 6 months, you'll have lost a bunch of momentum. When I sit down with a person and they say, look, I've only got 15 minutes, I say, good, I only got 12. You with me? I called a woman the other day, and here's what I said to her, okay? And I called her, and here's what she said. This objection. She said, it's not a good time for me to talk. You ever heard that before? What do most people say?
Call you back.
I'm sorry, yeah. I said, it wasn't a good time for me to call you either. But I took the time to call you. You know why? Because you asked me to. Now, what I'm saying is, look, you are important, but we're both important.
Yeah.
So when people say to me, Coach, I know you're a busy man, here's what I say back to them. I'm no busier than you are. I'm not any more important than you are. And people supplicate all the time when they call me. I listen to voicemails. Hey, Coach, you're real busy. Can I get a second? Can I just get a minute of your time? Don't supplicate. You're important. You're valuable, okay? I reward people that are experts, okay? So the third piece of this is the follow-up. How many people could get better at follow-up? How much money are we losing? We all could, guys. We all could. And the final piece, I'm going to do this in 2 minutes, is we don't create an experience that drives referrals. Okay, when you study the type of customers at the end of the day, there's only 4 types of customers. There is a passive customer, which means I did business with you and it was what? Very average. What will I tell people when they ask me? Hey, it's okay. Take it or leave it. Then there's a detractor. What's a detractor? I did business with you and I hated it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go tell how many people?
Everybody.
See, now I can tell them on social media. Right? Now I can tweet about it, Facebook about it. I can tell everybody how much reach. They asked me the other day how much reach I had. I said 100,000, 200,000 people. I'm just a little baby star. But if I can reach 200,000 people, right, with my Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and everything, that's a lot of people to tell something to. So if a detractor, you get a detractor because they didn't like it, they're going to tell a lot of people. They actually hurt you. For every negative said about you in the market, it takes 5 positives to overcome 1 negative. If you make a bad first impression, they tell us 21 positive interactions to overcome the first negative one. right? And here's what every study in the world says. If I have a bad interaction with you, I make a decision about you in the first 10th of a second. If I have prolonged exposure to you, it doesn't change. You ever had a bad first impression with a person? Every time you see them from that point on, what do you think about them? Jerk. No matter how nice they are to you. I was on the elevator with a dude one day. He was rude to me. And every time I see him from that point forward, you know what I say? Jerk. Can't get past it, right? So we don't want detractors. Third type of customer is what's called a promoter. And a promoter is a person that's done business with you and they like it. And they're willing to say positive things about you, but they got to be solicited. Somebody's got to ask them. And that's not what I'm looking for. The fourth type of customer I'm looking for is what's called an advocate. And an advocate is a person who absolutely fight for you in the market when you're not there. My goal is to build 25 of those. 25 gets me 3 referrals a year. That's 75 new deals a year out of 25 people. So I call that my top 25, right? These are people who will, can, refer. And they are fighting for me. They're sending me 4, 5, 6 deals. Celeste does it all the time. Brandon does it. People that are sold on me go out there and bring me all kinds of referrals. The sale's already been made. You with me? So what do I try to do? I want to get my advocates to such a better place in their life that they would fight for me so hard. And when they're out there in the market, they're sending me referrals, okay? Everybody with me? Now, if we go to work on those 4 things, how much better would we be?
Major.
These are 4 missing structures of every salesperson on planet Earth. I'm telling you guys. I'm coaching a bunch of them. You just fix one of those 4 things, then you're going to be there. I believe everybody needs a coach in life. Bill, you believe that?
I believe it.
Okay. Steve, you believe that?
100%.
Everybody needs a good coach. Good coach, guys.
I do now.
People that, thank you. A good coach, listen, guys, make you a lot more money. I tell people all the time, people that are hesitant about spending money on coaching, the good coaches, if you don't get, I tell people I coach, if you don't get all your money back, I give it all back. If you don't earn 3 or 4 times the amount of money you put into me, okay, then I'll give every dollar back to you. Okay, and I feel confident that there's no way, unless you're real bad, that we can't get you to a that much better place. You follow me?
Yeah.
But you got to believe it. And I hear people all the time say, "Man, it's a cost. It's an expense. It's not an expense." You know the difference between assets. If you're investors, you know the difference between assets and liabilities. I'm sure. Assets add, liabilities subtract. You with me? So thank you for having me tonight, guys. I appreciate you. You guys are a little freaky, but I like that. All right. God bless you. Thank you.